Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Flecha, and welcome to another edition of the Rangers Recap. As are gonna review Game One of the 2014 Stanley Cup Finals. As tonight, the New York Rangers went up against the Los Angeles Kings from the Staples Center in LA. And Ranger fans, oof, this is gonna be a tough one to swallow, guys. New York was up 2-0 early in the game, getting two goals in about 1 minute and 36 seconds, and then everything just fell apart. Especially, LA gets one goal back. Then, it was basically stymied in the second period. Third, they get an equalizing goal in the second. The third period, LA was dominating New York, and if it wasn't for Henrik Lundqvist, who knows? This could have been a bloodbath. And unfortunately, a bad turnover in the overtime period, and the New York Rangers has to swallow the pill of defeat tonight as they lose game one of these finals. Final score 3-2 in overtime. Um, Anthony, before we just go into it, let me get your initial thoughts about this game, and then we'll go period by period. What did you think about the game as a whole?
All right. Hello, friends, and it is ridiculously over Anthony Florio with you for for our newest edition of the Ranger Roundup. Glad to be here as always, even with what happened tonight. But you know what? I mean, the game as a whole, I will say, it was a five-star classic. I mean, this is the third year in a row that Game One of the Stanley Cup Finals ends up being a five-star classic and going to overtime. I mean, these same Kings against the New Jersey Devils 2 years ago, which I believe was a single overtime game. And then who could forget that epic triple overtime game last year with the Boston Bruins and the Chicago Blackhawks? That marathon. I mean, maybe the greatest game one of all time, although it ranks right up there with that Edmonton Boston game in '90. That first game in the old Boston Garden. But right now, I mean, New York Rangers, I mean, here's a team that had 5 days of rest, which is equivalent to the average, rest times for a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. I mean, that's the average rotation, but and the LA Kings only had 2 days of rest because they just played on Sunday night and had to go from Chicago back to LA. You would have thought the New York Rangers were probably going to have a slight advantage going into this game, but unfortunately, not the case. I mean, they jump out early, get a quick lead, a quick two-goal lead, and it looks like they were going to, pick up right where they left off. It looked like they were going to cruise tonight, but then LA got going. They got what we like to call an excuse me goal. That's what that first goal was, kind of like an excuse me goal. And then they tied, and then they ended up winning it. Very bad turnover by Danny Girardi at the end there. I mean, it had a little bit of everything. I mean, Rangers dominated at one point, then Kings dominated. I mean, I'll get more into that when we go period by period. But as a whole, this game tonight definitely, ranks right up there as another one of the great game ones of Stanley Cup Final history. I mean, five-star classic. There's no question about it. I mean, it looked like it was going to be a dud early because, like I said, with the Rangers jumping out, but the Kings, they found a way to win, and they're the cardiac Kings, and now they're just 3 wins away from their second cup in 3 years. I hate that it's at our expense, but it is what it is. I mean, this is the most heartbreaking loss since Game 6 in 2012 against Jersey, the infamous Adam Henrique goal that eliminated us in Game 6, and this one here. I mean, this one may be just as heartbreaking, maybe if not worse. I mean, Henrik Lundqvist just stood on his head tonight. I mean, you saw his body of work tonight. He was absolutely incredible in defeat tonight. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be a man. I'm going to be professional here, and I will give the Los Angeles Kings, credit where credit is due. They earned this win tonight. They deserve to win this game tonight. But all in all, this game was a five-star classic, and definitely this is going to be a tone setter, no pun intended, for what I think is going to be a phenomenal series. I don't know if it's going to surpass that awesome series we saw last year with Boston and Chicago, greatest Stanley Cup final ever. I mean, for that to happen, it would not only have to go 7, but it would also have to have, almost every game would have to be a five-star classic for that to happen. But after tonight, we might be on our way. So Boston and Chicago from last year, beware. Because if these two teams keep doing what they're doing for the next, 5, 6, or whatever so games, this could end up being the greatest Stanley Cup final of all time. 5 stars. What else is there to say? Let's just get to it. Let's just get to period by period now.
All right, and we're going to start off with the first period. And like I said, it was basically hard hitting. You knew both teams were going to come out firing on all cylinders and the whole 9 yards, and it did. And the thing was, like you said, we wanted it to see who was going to set the tempo in this game. And well, it started really quick when a breakaway goal, Benoit Pouliot got a breakaway. He scores at 13:21 on a wrist shot, beating Jonathan Quick. He is the man who gets the first goal in the Stanley Cup Finals unassisted, his fourth of the playoffs, and that was 1-0 New York. And then, like I said, 1 minute, 36 seconds later, it was Carl Hagelin, and this was a shorthanded goal because Matt Zuccarello got thrown into the box for holding. He holded Tanner Peterson. He was in the box. Carl Hagelin made a great goal on a backhand shot, beating Jonathan Quick, and it was assisted by Brian Boyle and Ryan McDonough, and that gave the New York Rangers a 2-0 lead. And I think Ranger fans were thinking, oh my goodness, we got ourselves a situation where we could steal game one. And then Kyle Clifford gets gets on the board for the LA Kings as he scores, give the assist to Jeff Carter. And there was a moment, Anthony, and I even, when we were talking about the game, I thought it didn't really, I didn't know if it hit the post, because it looked like one of those weird caroms, but it hit the top of the roof of the net. It goes in past Lundqvist. It is definitely a goal. And at the end of that period, it was 2-1 New York. And in the shots, it was almost practically even. 14-13 advantage went to the LA Kings. So, what did you think about period number one?
Yeah, first period, definitely the New York Rangers were definitely the aggressors. There's no question about that. I mean, we saw the game, all the way in. I mean, you were a little late because you had to work tonight. You got in a little late, not too late, but I mean, I saw the game, straight through, and Julia, I mean, with that goal, that was a thing of beauty. I mean, that was like a penalty shot, if you will. It was almost like an unofficial penalty shot right there. With the way he was going in on Jonathan Quick, and he, you know, put the biscuit in the basket, the 5-hole, and then 142 later, here comes Carl Hagelin on a shorthanded situation. I mean, second time he scored a shorthanded goal in this playoff year. I recall he had one during our last series against the Montreal Canadiens, and put us up 2 nothing, and it definitely looked like we were the aggressors. It looked like we were going to cruise here. I mean, I thought it was going to be a carbon copy of Game 1 against Montreal. Remember how we holiday hammed them 7-2? I thought we were on our way to another holiday hamming, and then all of a sudden, here come the Los Angeles Kings. Kyle Clifford with that goal. I know what Fletch was talking about. He thought that it was like he wasn't sure, and this is what I call the excuse me goal. It kind of looked like one of those. I mean, it ricocheted and it bounced off the top of the net in the net. I mean, upper right hand side. Fletch was like, score. Like, wait a minute, is it a goal? And I'm like, yeah, it's a goal, it's a goal. He's like, yes, it's in, it's a score, and that's exactly what it was. And Kyle Clifford got that, made it 2-1, and that's definitely where the Los Angeles Kings, started to pick it up a little bit, and that's definitely, where they started to feel the momentum sliding towards them. I mean, after the Rangers were so aggressive and dominating early on, but you know, and it was because of a line change. I mean, it was a line change. Daryl Sutter, the head coach of the Kings, called for a line change, and it was a perfect timing on that, and that's what led to that goal by Clifford. So it was a goal. There's no doubt about it. I mean, excuse me, whatever it was, excuse me goal or not, it was an actual goal. So credit that to Kyle Clifford, 2-1 after one. New York Rangers definitely had the advantage there, but once Clifford scored, that's when it started to go downhill for the New York Rangers tonight in Game 1. So with that said, let's go to period 2.
And then period two, it was basically hard hitting, hard fight. hard battling, and really nothing that really would have made anything amazing. But we had the Kings had a penalty as Jake Munson goes into the box for 2 minutes for interference, and then Derek Brassard absolutely annihilates Dustin Brown, gets nailed for a boarding call, and then possibly, and then of course Mike Richards also got hit with a high stick. Those were the penalties, and the shots were 9-7 for the New York Rangers. So you're thinking, New York did very well. Well, let me just say this, folks. If you did not see the goal scored by Drew Doughty in at 6:36 in the second period, I want you guys to log on to NHL.com or YouTube.com immediately when you're done with us tonight, of course, because I gotta tell you, Anthony, I thought this was the goal of the playoffs. What an individual performance Drew Doughty does. He basically dekes through a couple of Rangers, basically gets into gets close enough to the net, and then puts a beautiful wrister right by Henrik Lundqvist, and it's his fifth of the playoffs. Give the assist to Justin Williams and Kyle Clifford. That was the goal that tied the game going into the third period. So, Anthony, let's talk about the period, but mainly let's talk about probably the goal of the game, and that's the Drew Doughty goal.
Yeah, second period was definitely all Los Angeles Kings. There's no question about that, especially the Doughty goal. I mean, that was an amazing goal. I mean, he made a nice little juke move on Brad Richards, and that's what led him to the opening, and he put it past Henrik Lundqvist to tie the game. And yes, Drew Doughty showing you why he is the best defenseman. I'm going to go on the record. He is the best defenseman in the game today, and he showed you why right there. And I think it's a crime that he was not nominated for the Norris Trophy. I mean, quite frankly, if I was a voter, I would vote him as the Norris Trophy winner right here and now. But you do have three good choices in that, but we'll get to that another day. But point is, Drew Doughty, the best damn defenseman in the NHL today, and I'm going to be real honest with you. He showed you why. I mean, that was an amazing goal by Drew Doughty, and tying the game at 2. Second period was definitely, I have to say, in favor of the Los Angeles Kings. No question about that. They definitely, played a lot more aggressive than they did in the first. And I mean, that was the only goal scoring. And yeah, and one of the reasons why it was in favor of the Kings was because the New York Rangers had so many missed opportunities. I mean, they had so many chances. I mean, I remember early in that period, they had a lot of chances, to put one in past Jonathan Quick, but Jonathan Quick just stood on his head. I mean, we saw flashes of the Jonathan Quick from 2 years ago, who led the LA Kings to the Stanley Cup. So he plays like that again. There's no question about it. The Kings are going to win this again. So, I mean, Doughty with an amazing goal. Second period, I mean, it was Rangers early, but then the Kings, got going, and then once Doughty scored, that's really when they had the advantage, and the advantage was definitely all Los Angeles Kings after that. So, but those missed opportunities by the New York Rangers definitely was a killer, no question about that. So, I don't know what else there is to say here, Fletch, except let's just go to our third period then.
And then the third period, it basically the wheels almost literally came off for the New York Rangers, but you know what? I have to say it was Henrik Lundqvist that saved the day. I mean, he was blistered 20-3. The Rangers could not get any offense whatsoever. Lundqvist made 20 brilliant saves, but I'll tell you one thing: the final minute of this game, this could have gone either way. New York had a chance, went right by the boards. LA had a chance, they went right by the boards. And after everything that went down, it ended up being no scoring in that period. And believe it or not, for the third consecutive year, ladies and gentlemen, we were heading to overtime in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Anthony, that third period, that was all LA Kings, but Henrik Lundqvist, the king, or like you would say, the best in the world, he found a way to, find those magic moments, and well, overtime we headed. So, what did you think about that?
When it comes to the third period, Fletch, there's no question about it. This period was all, and I do mean all, Los Angeles Kings. I mean, they outshot the New York Rangers. What was it, 18-2 in that third period? I mean, absolutely incredible. And how Henrik Lundqvist absolutely, stood on his head in that third period was just absolutely incredible. I mean, the Kings were definitely the aggressors. But that final minute, man, oh my goodness. I mean, we were on the edge of our seats. I mean, here's Carl Hagelin. Oh, 20-3. Okay, I stand corrected. 20-3 in favor of the Los Angeles Kings in that third period. Henrik Lundqvist stopping all 20 shots. That just goes to show you why he is the best in the world when it comes to goaltenders and why he is a former Vezina Trophy winner. And also now why he is the franchise leader, the all-time franchise leader in wins, not just in regular season, but now just recently postseason. He just recently passed Mike Richter. The 42nd win, of course, was the clincher against Montreal. So how fitting was it to surpass Mike Richter, the game that won us the Prince of Wales trophy? But still, Carl Hagelin comes in. I mean, we thought Hagelin was going to do it again. We were like, yes, yes. Oh, Jonathan Quick just stood on his head. What a fantastic save by Jonathan Quick. And then over on the other end, not even 30 seconds later, here comes Los Angeles Kings, Jeff Carter, with an opportunity. He had a wide open net. Carl Hagelin gets a skate in, and then Henrik Lundqvist makes the second best save he's made in this postseason. We all know what number one was, of course, against the Montreal Canadiens in the Game 6 clincher. I mean, that may be the greatest save you'll ever see. I mean, Doc Emmerich, who, as we all know, is the awesome commentator for the NHL on NBC, he was unable to do the game tonight due to a death in his family. We wish him all the best with that. Hearts and prayers go out to him and his family. But if he had been there tonight, there's no question about it. He would have lost his mind if he had done that. Oh my goodness! Can you imagine what he would have done on those two plays in the final minute? Quick save on Hagelin, and then Lundqvist's unbelievable save on Carter. I mean, Fletch and I, we did the commentary. Mikey absolutely lost his mind, and I'm surprised he's even still here until the voice left because how incredible that save was on both ends. But the third period definitely belonged to the Los Angeles Kings because of the shooting. But that final minute, man, that's a final minute we're going to remember for a long time. I mean, that could have gone either way. I mean, I honestly thought Hagelin was going to put it in. I really did. When I saw Hagelin going in all along, like, yes, yes, and then, oh, wow, so close. But man, what a third period. So great play by the Los Angeles Kings. They own that third period. But man, that final minute, that's all I can say, final minute. So I have nothing left to say here except let's just wrap this up with overtime.
We go right into the overtime, and it didn't last long. 4 minutes, 36 seconds into the overtime period. Basically, a horrible turnover right in the Rangers zone. Mike Richards passes to Justin Williams. Well, Justin Williams ended the Western Conference Finals with an overtime victory goal. He ends Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final with a goal, his 8th of the playoffs, as he puts it right by Lundqvist, and the Los Angeles Kings wins Game 1 of the 2014 Stanley Cup Finals, and they have now the 1-game-to-none lead in the series. I'm just going to give you quick stats, and then we'll just go from there. Let's just do it right now. The total shots in the game: LA 43, New York 27. Power play: LA was 0 for 4, New York was 0 for 3. The hitting: LA was more aggressive. They were definitely banging on New York a lot more, 45-33 advantage. Face-off victories: this was almost even, 29-28 advantage LA. The giveaways, actually, this is where in this situation the giveaways, LA was not as good on the puck. They actually gave it up 18 times to to 10 for New York. Takeaway 6-1. Block shots was 15-12. Advantage went to the Kings in that one. And you know what? Let's just say, man, the great goaltending tonight by both starters. Jonathan Quick made 25 saves on 27 shots with a save percentage of 9-6. Henrik Lundqvist 40 saves on 43 shots. He also had a nine he had a 9.30 save percentage, and our three stars of the game, the number three stars from the New York Rangers, Carl Hadson, he had a goal and a point. Number two star from the LA Kings, Kyle Clifford, he had a goal and an assist. And of course, the number one star, well, why not? He deserves it. It's Justin Williams, an assist and the game-winning goal for Game One of the Stanley Cup Final. Anthony, what did you think about the overtime? What is and let me ask you this question: What do you think? What would be the adjustments? What do you think LA should do, and what should New York do going into Game Two?
Wow, that's a great question. But before I get into that, um, the overtime, I mean, it was only a few minutes in. I mean, Rangers had some chances early, as I remember, and then I got to correct you. It was Alec Martinez. Alec Martinez had the winning goal in Game 7 against the Chicago Blackhawks in the Western Conference Finals. But you were correct. Justin Williams was the winner. I mean, Daniel Girardi, I mean, he picked a great time to have a Morocco mold moment, as he absolutely gave it up. He passed it, a very bad turnover. It gets intercepted, and then Williams with the winner. A comeback from 2-0 down to win it. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's a stinger, man. It's a stinger. There's no question about it. I mean, but here's the thing. I mean, both teams played fantastic tonight. The goaltenders were great. Um, Henrik Lundqvist, I still think outplayed Jonathan Quick tonight from a save standpoint, but it doesn't matter. Jonathan Quick is the one who gets the W tonight, as the Kings steal Game 1 here. A great comeback. I will give them credit where credit is due. They deserve to win this game tonight. A great comeback indeed, and yeah. As far as adjustments go, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Rangers, the one thing the Rangers have to do is this: when they see an opportunity, they have to take advantage of it. That's what it is. I mean, they got to they have to be more aggressive in front of Jonathan Quick. They got to get more. They got to get more shots in front of Jonathan Quick. I mean, they can't have any. They can't have too many wide shots and the giveaways. They gotta work on that. And basically, I mean, they don't really need to show a sense of urgency here, but I do have to consider this next game somewhat of a must-win here. I mean, you don't want to go down 2-0 early in a series, especially this series, no question about it. I mean, as I've always said after a Ranger loss in this postseason, I'm going to say it again once again. They're coming to play in Game 2. You know they are. I have no doubts in my mind they're going to come in Game 2. I mean, Henrik Lundqvist was not the problem tonight. I mean, defense was fine. I mean, the penalty kill was fine as well. Penalty kill has been our strong suit in this postseason so far. I mean, no exception tonight. But what really did it was that bad turnover. I mean, Girardi's got to, he's got to, work on that. They have to, the defense has to, be a little better. I mean, but the main thing is, the main adjustment for the New York Rangers is, like I said, they have to be more aggressive in front of Jonathan Quick. They got to get more opportunities. And if they do get those opportunities, take advantage of them. That's all they have to do. They can take advantage of those opportunities. And I think the New York Rangers can steal Game 2 on Saturday night. There's no question about that. Now, as for the Los Angeles Kings, I mean, they earned this win tonight. I mean, it's not really an adjustment, but what they really have to do, they definitely have to still be the aggressors. I mean, have a period like he did in that third period. I mean, get a lot of shots in front of Henrik Lundqvist. I mean, and of course the defense. I mean, what they can't do. I mean, here's the thing: they gave up a shorthanded goal tonight. That's something they have to. There's an adjustment right there. Don't allow a shorthanded goal. You're on the power play. Take advantage of that man advantage. I mean, they could not do that tonight. I mean, that was a major kill for the Los Angeles Kings. Now, you said something about giveaways. I mean, who won the giveaway battle? Did we win the giveaway battle on that one, or did they win the giveaway battle on that one? I mean, I know you said something about giveaways. Um,
Actually, the giveaways was the LA Kings had 18 giveaways. New York only had 10 giveaways.
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, tough loss tonight. But we know this team can play. I mean, they always respond after a loss. I mean, we saw it. I mean, it was especially in the Pittsburgh Penguins series. I mean, the Philly series. I mean, they had the advantage there. But as far as the Pittsburgh series go, remember they were down 3-1. I mean, Game 4 was a bad game, but they played three fantastic games in a row to come back and win the series. Look at against Montreal Canadiens. Game 3, terrible overtime loss. And then what do they do in Game 4? They win in OT, San Luis. And then Game 5, that unbelievable slugfest. They lose, and then what did they do? They came back and won. So for the last few games now, don't forget, when this team has lost, they found a way to come back and win the next game. So I have no reason to believe that the New York Rangers cannot steal a game in Game 2. So I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I'm going to say the New York Rangers will win Game 2 on Saturday night. I think they're going to even this series at 1. I strongly feel that way. I think Henrik Lundqvist is going to outplay Jonathan Quick again, no doubt about that. Um, the power plays, I think the Rangers will. Well, there's no question. They're going to kill. They're going to kill those. There's no question about that. They're going to kill the power. They're going to kill the penalties. That's been strong. That's been our strongest suit in this postseason so far. I mean, what the Rangers have to do, this is the main adjustment here. They have to be the aggressors more. I mean, clearly the Kings were the aggressors tonight. They cannot let the Los Angeles Kings do that again on Saturday night. If they do that, they let the Kings be the aggressors again. Not only are they going to fall behind 2-0, but they could end up, this could end up being an open and shut series. And I'm hoping that's not the case. I mean, this team's has faced adversity before, and they found a way to come back and overcome it in each instance. So don't forget. I mean, Philly was never really an issue, but the last couple of rounds against Pittsburgh and Montreal, every time we faced adversity, what did we do? We came back and we won. So that's why I believe and considering what has happened in the last few games. I mean, it's been a rotation the last few games. Win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. It was a loss tonight. I think we can follow it up with a win. I really do. So, for the Rangers, be the aggressors, get more shots on Jonathan Quick, take advantage of any opportunities you get, and if you get those opportunities, cash in on them. No more wide shots, no more none of that. Get more shots in front of Jonathan Quick, and also maybe some one-on-one breaks. That will definitely help. No question about that. Keep doing what you're doing on the penalty kill. They don't need any work on that. They're fine with that. That's been their strong suit. Lundqvist has been amazing. So all the Rangers really have to do to steal this game too, which I think they're going to, they have to be the aggressors more. They have to want it more than the Los Angeles Kings. So credit to the Kings. Big win tonight. They deserve to win this game. I'll give them credit where it's due, even though I'm not really thrilled about it, as I know Fleck isn't either, and of course all other members of Ranger Nation. And how do you think that big turnout at Bryant Park is feeling right now?
Oh,
Yeah, that's enough said. They left home brokenhearted tonight. So are we gonna feel brokenhearted after Saturday night? Let's hope not. So it's a bold prediction, I know, but give me the Rangers in Game 2. I really think they can win this game. I really do. So they're coming to play. They're coming to play. We made it this far. Don't choke now. We want this. We waited a long time for this. I honestly still like them to win this series. I have them winning this series in 6, maybe 7. They have to lose a game. Fine that they lost tonight. But Game 2, they
they
better
gotta
win. If they
win.
don't, they have to win Game
Yeah.
2. And I think they're going to. But here's the thing. If they lose Game 2, you're here first. We're done. We're done.
All right.
Wrap it up, Fletch.
All right. You heard it. Game 2 is now more important than ever before. You want to get a split in the Stanley Cup Finals? This is the moment that you probably want to do it, Ranger fans. So we're gonna do it. Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final goes down Saturday night at 7 p.m. 7:15. The puck will drop at the Staples Center in LA. And this is a pivotal game 2 for the Rangers. They need to win this. They need to get the split going back to New York on Monday night. So with that said, we will see you on Saturday night after the game is over. Of course, myself and Anthony Florio will have the recap of that game. Until then, for Anthony Florio, I am Michael Fletcher. You know the routine, everybody. Hugs and hand pounds. We are out. Good night, Ranger Nation. You've been watching the Ranger Roundup, the recap of Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final exclusively on YouTube.com. Have a good night, everybody.